take it. 5 for 6. I'll take it. If it was for those darn Commanders, been breaking my heart all year. It may be lucky. Well, on to the division round we go.
Give us holy grace, risen on the third day. Took his children from the hell's gate. Make a vessel out of me so I could send him your wanna lead a
What's good, y'all? I'm Gabriel Vázquez, your host for Boricua Sports, and we have another episode for you guys today. Back-to-back weeks. Let's go, y'all. NFL is what we love to do. The football, NFL, Go Bears, Chicago sports. You already know. Again, I'm Gabriel Vázquez, your host. And again, like in the intro, I'm 5 for 6, baby. I just by one game missed a perfect 6 for 6. If it wasn't for those darn Commanders, who are just the luckiest team in the NFL besides the Chiefs. But we're not going to get into that. I just don't want to, make Commanders fans mad. Bears fan, a little salty about them. But it's all good. No worries. We're chilling out here. But what's good, y'all, in the episode, we got up in here. NFL Divisional round, let's go. It's down to the final 6, you know what I'm saying? Yep, wait, I'm sorry. 2, 4, 8, final 8, excuse me. Yes, because next week will be 4. Duh. So, here we go as we get started. And I got them all in order, except for one matchup that's a little out of order. It's going to be my game to watch, the Juggernaut, the one I'm eyeing. Keep it on my notebook, all that great stuff. Bills, Ravens. That should be a good game, but trust me, we'll get into that later. But again, got most of all of them right. Let's on top of my head, Rams beat the Vikings. I low-key saw coming. I did pick them to win, but I didn't see that absolute slaughter fest from them. I thought maybe they pick it up a bit and then have a close game towards the fourth, but no, it was just straight domination. The Rams defense obviously picked up 9 sacks against Darnold. Offense firing on all cylinders. Puka Nacua and Stafford were connecting. Obviously Cooper Kupp. And even Tyler Higbee for a moment there before he got injured. They were moving the ball. So, again, shout out to everyone who contributed for the Rams, and prayers and thoughts, of course, still for the LA wildfires happening out there in California. Thoughts and prayers to you guys, as always. Prayer up and quick recoveries. But yeah, so we got that one right. Phillies, Packers, got that one right. Bunch of injuries for the Packers, but it doesn't matter. They're bad anyway. Just kidding. Well, I mean, offense didn't look too great for both sides, but one pulled it out, and obviously it was Philadelphia with their amazing running game there. Bills slaughtered the Denver Broncos. Didn't think they had a crazy chance. I mean, they looked promising to start the game, but nothing contribute after. I mean, they kind of left the game right after that. But, I mean, hey, there's always next year, and the Broncos have a bright future. Love to see them in the future play with Bo Nix and that offense with Sean Payton in there at the helm. It'll be a good couple years for the Broncos. Let's see. Detroit and Kansas City are the first round bye, so they are waiting. They're going to play this weekend. The Texans. That was a surprising game, too. Kind of like the Broncos game where the Chargers forgot to show up after their first couple drives and really looked back because they didn't really score that much anyway. A lot of defensive plays from the Texans, who did well on defense. They did that QB pressure like I said they would. Stroud picked it up towards the end of the game, second half. They've fired on cylinders. They found no mistakes. They regrouped and took the big W in that one at home. So that was a big one. I'm trying to think if anyone else. I mean, I'm probably blanking out here. Got the Packers, the Eagles, the Bills. We got the Texans and Chargers. Commanders, obviously. I just mentioned that in the beginning of the video. That Sunday's slate. Yeah, I think that's about it. I think I mentioned all of them. So now we're here in the divisional round, guys. And my first predictions, we got Kansas City and Houston. Now, this is probably more of a biased prediction, but I feel like a lot of people want to agree with me because they don't want to see KC do a three-peat. So we're going to start with them. It's the first game tomorrow at 4:30 on ABC. That'll be a good one. It's a rematch of Week 16. KC defeated Houston 27-19. That's when injuries happened with the Texans that unfortunately most likely derailed their offense throughout the season. But they picked it up as of late. Again, the Texans defense is really good. We went over that in the last video. The Chiefs' red zone defense is 8th in the league, which is huge. You know, if the Texans drive down the field and do what they do with C.J. Stroud in the running game, which they have, if the Chiefs can step up in the red zone, that could be a big factor into having them score. And again, we know KC is more the luckier teams of the league this year. I mean, you even see their Mahomes having his worst-ish year of his career. Only 26 touchdowns. That's, I believe, 6 more than Caleb Williams. I think Caleb had 20 this year. Mahomes only had 6 more. Not that impressive. 11 interceptions, but a 93.5 rate. Not too bad. He took 41 sacks this year. And why is that important? Well, because I feel like don't worry about Mahomes' stats right now in the regular season. Mahomes is absolutely insane in the playoffs. He gets it done. He's clutch. He has his favorite target, Travis Kelce. The combined duo of Mahomes and Kelce, it's like Tom Brady and Gronk all over again. They will get it done, and they will do something to make it happen to win against not just the Texans, but just the whole playoffs. And, you know, they have home field advantage in the AFC. The rush defense for KC is second with about almost 4 per carry, which is not bad. Their pass defense is about middle of the pack with a 90, a little over a half rate. So what I'm getting at is if the Texans can mix up their offense with passing and running, it could be a slow day for the Chiefs' offense, but the Houston offense got to pick it up. C.J. Stroud had a decent game against the Chargers, 282 yards, 90 rate, touchdown, and interception. So I feel like if they had to get over that hump of just being consistent, just executing and being consistent and make as little as mistakes as you can on the field against a obviously very, very experienced Chiefs team who's trying to go for the first three-peat in NFL history. The wild card defense for the Houston Texans, they were 3rd and 11 on third down, which is good. That's big for their defense to stop Mahomes and their offense on third down, which for them, I believe they're the best on third down offensively, I believe here. I know there was something about someone being good on third down when it came to, right here. Third down offense is second. I had to look it up in my notes so I clearly see it. Third down offense is second, and they were and the Houston defense was 3-11 against the Chargers. It was a good ball there. So I think with all this, honestly, I think the Chiefs' luck will run out. Might be a little biased. I don't want the Chiefs to win. They probably will win. But I will take Houston again with the upset. They have faced twice before, 2015, 2019, and Houston lost both. Kansas City pummeled them twice, and Houston's looking for some revenge in this first round of the divisional game. First game on ABC at 4:30 with Joe Buck and Troy Aikman. But give me the Houston Texans in this one, just because I don't want to see the Chiefs to win, and I feel like C.J. Stroud, his confidence and clutchness will come up here, and he will do what he has to do to win, and the defense will do its job. So give me Texans on that one. Next game, we'll go with Washington and Detroit. Don't need to speak too much on this one, to be honest, but I'm going to. Give me Detroit, and I'll give you why without really looking at my notes too much. Detroit's offense. Now, Detroit's defense is a big issue, but if their offense can fire on the cylinders like they've been doing all year, be consistent, hand the ball off, they got Montgomery back. Montgomery and Gibbs are back in the backfield. Coincidentally, said that at the same time. They are going to cook that Washington run game. Now I have to look back at my notes because I don't know off the top of my head already. Speaking a little fast, let me slow down. One thing that stands out to me about the Washington defense is their pass rush has only allowed 1 sack in last game, which is not bad, but Goff is not that prone to taking sacks. I mean, he took a couple about middle of the pack. I mean, he's okay against the blitz, but he took 33 sacks this year, which is 10th. So about a little above average, I would say, for Goff. But that's what stands out to me is the defense for the Commanders, and it's not good. They're one of the worst against the air. So if you could pair that, and if Detroit's offense can do what they've been doing all year with the running game and the passing game and the creative play calling from Ben Johnson, hopefully future Bears head coach, I feel like this will be a big game. I feel like it'll be close for a second, But I feel like Washington's defense is going to show up, and it's going to get out of hand pretty quickly. I would say maybe the third-ish quarter. Excuse me. But one thing about Washington, I haven't really talked about them too much, is they're the fifth best in scoring as well. So it could be, like I said, a shootout. But someone's defense is going to fall out. Whether it's Detroit's or Washington, someone's defense is going to fall. And I'm going to give it to Washington because I feel like even though their offense is good, they were close against the Bucs, and they went for it a lot on fourth down. It's a fourth down clash between these two football teams, Dan Campbell and Dan Quinn, the Dans. They are gamblers, and they just don't know when is enough. I mean, it's one of them's going to be cost. One of them's going to cost them the game. Someone's decision is going to get them in trouble. But yeah, their third down offense, that's ranked 6th. That's not bad. You know, you want to get first downs on third down, keep the ball moving, get the chains going. Like I said earlier, they went for it a lot on fourth down against the Bucs. They went 5 times exactly, went 3 for 5 with a touchdown against the Bucs on fourth down. And like I said, pass rush only 1 sack in the wild card game. I don't know what's gonna happen with Goff. He took 33 this year, which is not that bad. So again, defense is gonna differ. But I would say that Detroit's third down D is the best. The third down defense will prevail, and that will get them over the hump, I believe, which might be the slight edge. I don't want a slight edge, but a decent edge into what I could be a decently close game until it doesn't. So give me Detroit on that one. Don't have a prediction score. I'm not really good with those, but I just want Detroit to win. I'm going to keep going, move on to the NFC title game for the second straight year, and finally get over that hump and make their first Super Bowl in franchise history. Going to the second to last game, third game to be exact, we have Philly and LA. Now this should be a good one. Both teams are firing on all cylinders. Obviously, LA has a chip on their shoulder from winning in Arizona for their hometown of LA, for the situation they're going through. They have that chip, and they're coming into Philly, a tough place to play, with that environment and that confidence at the same time. So we'll see how that happens. But again, Philly's won 13 of the last 14. That's the last meaningful games they've played. Again, Philly's offense wasn't firing on all cylinders. Unfortunately, against the Packers, who had a mediocre defense, but looked good against them. I feel like depending on how the Rams' defense shows up, it could lead to a big factor because Philadelphia does not throw the ball out this year. They're dead last in throwing attempts this season. I mean, when you have Barkley in the backfield and you have a mobile quarterback in Hurts, I could see why you're last in passing attempts. So we'll see how that plays. The rush defense for the Rams, about 3.7 yards per carry. They've allowed under 10 points in 4 out of their 5 games, the Ram defense. And the Eagles only scoring 22 points against that mediocre Packer defense is a questionable source onto how good would the Eagles' offense be. But you're not going to worry about their offense for Philadelphia. The Birds, one of the best offenses in the league, along with their defense. So it could be a back-and-forth affair. Obviously, you have Barkley in the backfield. He had 2 touchdowns and 255 rushing yards against L.A. when they met in Week 12 on Sunday Night Football. Eagles took that one. And he rushed only 119 against the Pack. And Hurts had 26 of himself. But one key factor that I want to mention that is not great for the Eagles, 2-11 on third down. That will not get it done. You have to be consistent on third down, make a play, move the chains to keep the clock moving, keep the momentum going for the offense, and obviously score, wear out that defense for the Rams, and just let that momentum carry you for the rest of the game. They have 4 takeaways off 10 points with the Eagles' defense and special teams, including the kickoff return fumble that they had. And then they have 2 sacks in the past week. So, again, defense is good. A little banged up. Zadarius Slay was a little hurt. He came back, and they're out their star linebacker. I don't think he's good to go to start the Eagles game. So we'll see how it happens. I do have Philly winning this game, though, and I feel like defenses will prevail. Although the Rams' defense, like I said, they have under 10 points in their last, I think I said that already, 4 last 5 games. Again, big factor for the Rams. They sacked Darnold 9 times. They have over 50% QB pressure and almost a 20% blitz. And, yeah, that's going to be a key factor for this Rams defense. If the Eagles can get the passing game going, they got to rely on the run game, and eventually they'll probably get stuffed. So I will take the Eagles in this one just slightly, but I could see LA pulling it off. Maybe a little upset in Philly with that rowdy home crowd. So that should be a good one as well. These games are going to be amazingly good. So that one actually, that I didn't mention the other game. I'm sorry. So the Detroit and Washington game, that's also on Saturday at 8 p.m. on Fox. And LA and Philly's game is on 3 o'clock on NBC, again, in Philly. So technically, Philly's game is last. I'm sorry. Yes, Philly's game is last. Buffalo's is first, but because I wanted Buffalo to go last, at least in the standings here, I have chosen Buffalo and Baltimore. I think the prime jewel of this divisional round has finally come upon us. Two quarterbacks who are struggling themselves in the playoffs, not just against each other, in the playoffs itself. The combined record for all-time matchups between them is even at 2 apiece. This is game 5 between them, including a playoff game against them both, where Buffalo pulled out in 2020, having them go to the AFC Championship game. Unfortunately, we all know what happened there. Before I get to my pick, because this is going to be a banger game, I cannot wait for this game to prevail. It's going to give us everything we want to. One thing I will say, Buffalo has won 11 of the last 13. Allen had 272 yards, 2 touchdowns. In the last game against the Broncos, good game, 2 tutties is what you need. 1 follow-through. They allowed 43 yards to Bo Nix. That's rushing. Only rushing yards. Can you imagine what's going to happen with Lamar and Henry in the backfield? Well, not Lamar, but Henry in the backfield, and Lamar using his legs. They rank 18th in pass defense, which is okay. I mean, I don't expect the Ravens to throw all that much because they have those legs, kind of like the Eagles. But the Bills are 28th in third down defense. That stands out to me. Because if they get on third down, it's third and short for the Ravens. Hand it off to the King Henry. And he will most likely, 99% of the time, pick up that first down. So I think it's going to be a dogfight. I mean, we know that. It's going to come down to whoever has the ball last. And I think it's just going to be a battle of whose defense, again, with the Lions and Commanders, whose defense is going to falter. And honestly, I think the Ravens' defense is just slightly better, but only as of right now. Because in their last 4 games, or 4 of the last 5 games, they have allowed under 18 points. Now, yes, they played not so great teams. The Steelers twice, and they've been struggling on offense. Giants and Browns. Our team was the Bengals. And they just barely beat them by 1 point. I believe it was a week 17, I believe. Or 18. I think it was week 18. You can't have that bad of a defense with this Buffalo offense. Now, I do think that they're slightly better because they have a good front linebacker, Roquan Smith, former Bear and Dog. He's one of the captains of that defense. He will find a way to get things done, stack the box, make tackles with the running game. But the running game is not the Bills' offense. They can sling it. We know that. Cook is good in the backfield as well. But it's going to come down to who can make a stop. In the both struggling defenses, whether third down, first down, red zone, it doesn't matter. The key for the Bills is to stop the run game. Lamar rushed 60-plus yards in 3 straight games. Excuse me. That can happen. And Henry ran for 186 yards and was for 7.2 yards a carry against the Steelers. And the Steelers defense, I believe, is better than these two teams, and they get pummeled because their offense is not good. But you have to stop Henry. And you have to read Lamar's legs and his eyes and his composure to what he's gonna do with the ball. You can't get got. It's gonna be a dogfight. Lamar in the wild card round, 81 yards rushing, 28 plus points for the Ravens in their last 5 straight games. He only threw for 170 plus yards in the wild card game. Again, not a lot. Again, it depends on whose defense is going to prevail. I just feel like it's going to be a dogfight. I have it here, right here. The Bills against running backs, 4.4 yards a carry. The average is about 4.4. So they're right at the average of yards per carry with running backs. Kind of missed that point a little bit. Saw on my notes last second. Thought I'd put that out there. That will be huge. Will they stop Henry? Who knows? Buffalo lost to Baltimore in Week 4. Abysmal. 53-10 blowout. We shall see what happens. But I'll tell you this. Give me the Bills. It's going to be close. And I can tell you this. I feel like either team has it. It will come down to who has the ball last. And quite frankly, who's better in the clutch? Again, both quarterbacks who have been struggling to be successful in the playoffs battle it out for the first time to face Kansas City, their arch nemesis. Whoever wins has to go to KC, unless Texas wins. But it'll be a dogfight. And someone needs to clutch up. Who's better in the clutch? Y'all, let me know in the comments. That'll be it for this video for me, guys, and this podcast of Boricua Sports. I'll give you guys another episode of my takes, on my picks for Divisional weekend. It's going to be a good one. Starts tomorrow all through Sunday, and then we'll go again for Championship weekend. Championship Sunday, to be exact, where the 2 conferences battle for their title, for the conference championship, for their right to go to Super Bowl 59 in in New Orleans. That should be going as well. I appreciate you guys for watching. Make sure you look at the description, subscribe, watch my videos, my shorts. Go to at Boricua Sports _ from my Instagram channel where I post all my content from the Dan Patrick School of Sportscasting, along with any other freelance that I do on the side, along with any assignments I do at school. Thank you guys so much for tuning into this episode. We'll see you next time. Go Bears, and I'm out.
And give us holy grace, risen on the 3rd day. Took his children from the hell's gate. Make a vessel out of me so I could send him your way. Wanna lead a